Now before I begin, I will just like to point out that I am aware small little tiny notebooks such as this are completely designed for different purposes to notebooks like this. So this one is made to be portable, it's made to like fit in your rucksack or your bag or whatever you want to put it in. Carrying around everyday usage, just pull it out, typing Word documents type of stuff. Whereas this is marked as a gaming laptop, and yes, I know gaming laptops are stupidly overpriced compared to desktops when you're looking at the performance differences and the money spent on it, but the price has already been paid, it's here, I've got it, can't do anything about that. Whereas this notebook, like I said, is primarily targeted as a gaming notebook, but I more use it as like a temporary workstation notebook when I'm away from my desktop, so I can still edit videos and stuff. But yes, before everyone goes mad in the comments section, I am well aware that these laptops have completely different purposes when looking at it from a manufacturing standpoint. This is made to be light, portable, and just gets the basic done, such as word processing, and this is made to be basically a portable workstation, but obviously not as light and not as portable as something this size. So before I started the video, I just wanted to clear up on those little things, but still I thought it would be an interesting video to make, so I'm going to continue making this video whether you like it or not. Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Let's just jump straight in. What I have on the left here is a roughly £130 Asus eBook X205TA, and on the right here I have a custom version which costs roughly £1,100, so £1,100, of the 3XS LG A15 Performance GTX. Let's just jump right into the specifications of both laptops. Moving into the Asus notebook first, for the sake of convenience I have created a table and I've just simply got it up on the screen here. So this is the 2014 model of this laptop. They have released a newer version recently. I don't believe it is the X205TA, it's like the successor, but this is the X205TA 2014 model. So these are the main specifications. The GPU, I've only noted one GPU because the only graphics on this notebook are the integrated graphics on the CPU, therefore the primary graphics are those graphics and there are no secondary graphics because they are the only graphics. The rest of the specs are there, and at the bottom I have the price, which I've said approximately £130 because depending on where you buy this notebook from, this is also regarding the 2014 model. I know this video is recorded in 2017, but still today the prices of this notebook, currency is Great British Pounds as I've put there, and depending on where you look to buy it, the prices vary from like £120 to £140. So I just put £130, it's in the middle of that. But if you're looking for this notebook secondhand, you can get it a lot cheaper. I personally got this notebook secondhand for £53, which is less than half the price of what you would pay to get it new. So there's the specifications of this notebook. Now let's move over to the 3XS LG 15 Performance GTX Custom. So I will just say that first of all, as you can see here, the Turbo Boost to 3.8 on the CPU has been disabled. That is because if I enable the Turbo Boost, the CPU hits its thermal max and therefore it thermal throttles and you lose performance. So yeah, I will just say all of the tests that you will be seeing in this video is running the CPU at 2.8 GHz because the boost is disabled. Now when I've been comparing the Turbo Boost to the Turbo Boost being disabled, in Cinebench R15 the difference is around 150 to 200 points. Now unlike with the Asus notebook that I've just showed you, here we have two GPUs. The main GPU and the primary GPU is a GTX 1050 Ti with 4GB of VRAM, and the secondary GPU are the Intel graphics from the CPU. But like I said, the 1050 is the primary one, so that is the one that will be used in all the tests and stuff regarding like like graphics and stuff like that. So as I've noted, it is a custom, the stock version of this laptop, notebook, whatever you want to call it. But the just the normal version of this comes with just a 1050 with 2GB of VRAM, and it also comes with like a standard Broadcom wireless adapter instead of the Killer Wireless 1535 that I've got in this one. And the price paid for this notebook was roughly £1,100. So there are the specifications of the two notebooks that I'll be comparing in this video. So let's go ahead and turn them on. I probably won't be doing any like pinpoint timings because this isn't an SSD test or anything like that. It's just simply seeing which one boots up first. I'm going to press both power buttons at the same time. We've got the green light down there on that one, the screen just lit up, and we have the keyboard on this one. So the Asus ebook on the left posts first, and there we go. It's already welcoming us, and there we go. The ebook is like all set up, ready to use if I want to. And now here we are just, there we go. Now this one's all set up and ready to use if I want to. So as we could see from that, the ebook booted up first. I'm going to call this the ebook because it's an Asus ebook, so I'm going to call it the ebook. So as we can see, the Asus ebook over here booted up first. The next test I will be doing is a web-based test. I will be running Basemark Web 3.0. The links to all of the benchmarks and stuff that I use will be in the description. Okay, here we are ready to run the benchmarks again. So let's just run them, and time-lapse begins. So after however long it has been, the Asus ebook finished with a score of 36.39, and it even said the browser had problems running multiple tests. So yep, that's the score for that one. On the breakdown, it just shows below. I've never actually looked at the breakdown on this test, so I don't know how big it is. Right, that is literally all the breakdown you get. Like literally, as you can see, the sidebars right at the bottom. But yeah, there's a breakdown for the Asus ebook. Now moving over to the, I'm going to call it the GTX because the name is just far too long for repeating. So that finished with a score of 457.06, and the test was completed without issues on this notebook. And due to the high resolution screen, I can see all of the test breakdown without needing to move the sidebar. In fact, there is literally no sidebar at all, because it's all on one page. I won't read out the overall statistics like what these are, the stats. I know I said I'd call them something and I've already forgot what I said I'm going to call them, but yeah, that's the GTX notebook. So the next test I have to run is the Peacekeeper benchmark, which is another HTML5 test, I think. So let's just load these up, and I shall do the same thing, set them off at the same time, because why not? And then I shall just time-lapse once again. So as you saw there, the difference in actual test speeds was only a few seconds, but if we go and actually look at the score, so again, starting with the Asus ebook, the score was 883, and the test compatibility was 7 out of 7. So all the tests successfully ran this time. So just to put it into perspective, a 4th generation Apple iPad gets 951 points, and this notebook got 883. Moving over to the GTX, we have a total score of 4,387, and once again all the tests were able to run. And just for comparison's sake, again there's the Apple iPad 4th gen at 951, but this notebook got 4,387. So as we can see, a huge performance difference between that notebook and that one, but to be honest, that is expected. I'm just doing this video for purely curiosity reasons. And now the next test that I said I would run is Cinebench. Right, I believe I've got Cinebench on both of these notebooks. Let me just try and find it. Okay, I've now got Cinebench back on this notebook. And now to keep the comparisons as real as possible, during the specifications, I know I didn't mention it at the time, but if you looked at the specifications for yourself, you would have seen that this Asus ebook ran a 32-bit version of Windows. Yes, it still runs 32-bit. Obviously this one runs 64-bit because it's got 8 gigs of RAM, which is more than the 32-bit allows. But to keep the testing as real as possible, I will be running Cinebench 11.5 because R15, the latest version as of this recording, doesn't support 32-bit, so I've had to go back to 11.5. I will be running both the 32-bit on both systems to keep the tests to as close as possible. So let's go ahead and run these benchmarks. Again, I'll set them both off at the same time. I already know what the winner is, and you probably do, but like I've already said, this is just pure interest. So there we go, they are both running. And there we go, there's the end of that one. So moving into the Asus ebook, we scored 1.08 points. There's some more information on the CPU and graphics and OS, but for some reason it's detecting an unknown OS, even though it is Windows 10 Home 32-bit. And that's where it scores on the charts that are available there. I didn't intend on doing this, but I'll also do an OpenGL test, because on my little note of paper there, I've only got the Cinebench CPU one, but I'll do the OpenGL one as well. And now moving over to the GTX notebook, we have scored 6.01 points, and there's more information on the CPU. Again, it says it's running an unknown version of Windows, but it is Windows 10 Home. I mean, it might be because I am running Cinebench 11.5 instead of R15. It might be an issue with that, I don't know. Because when 1.5 was released, Windows 10 didn't exist, I don't think. And anyway, there's where the CPU stacks against those CPUs there. So now, I'm going to run the OpenGL test. I'm ready to run it here, and run. So there's the OpenGL test complete. Going to the Asus ebook. So we can see we have scored an OpenGL score of 5.82 FPS. And coming down here, that is how the Intel graphics compare to those other GPUs, which are just slightly off screen. Let me just move it across. So that is how the Intel graphics in this notebook compare to those GPUs. I'm moving over to the GTX notebook. We have scored a score of 50.33 FPS, and that's how the GPU scores against those GPUs there. The next benchmark I will be running will be 3D Mark. Now you may be saying, obviously this is not a gaming laptop, so why are you testing 3D Mark? I will only be running the mobile version of 3D Mark, which is like the most basic version you can get. So here I will be running the Ice Storm, the basic one. It says Ice Storm for basic smartphones and tablets. So I will be running that one. And now this one's booted up. Oh, I haven't done I've just realised in the list I haven't got a SSD speed test. Anyway, let's do this first. So I'm going to run the same 3D Mark benchmarks on both the notebooks, laptops, whatever. So let's just run, and 3, 2, 1, run.
It's delicious.
There's both the benchmarks finished. So now going to the Asus ebook, the total score was 15,286. And we can see for the graphics score, graphics 1 and 2. The total overall score was 15,954 graphics wise. Graphics test 1 scored 69.21 FPS and graphics test 2 scored 69.53 FPS. Now the physics score The overall score was 13,334 and the physics test FPS was 42.33 FPS. Now if I just compare this to the online results, then we can see that regarding the graphical performance, this notebook scores better than 5% of all results. But once again, that is clearly not a gaming notebook, so I was honestly expecting a score like that. Now moving over to the GTX notebook, the total score was 87,570. For the graphics score, we got 137,414. For the graphics test 1, we got 563.50 FPS. And for the graphics test 2, we got 635.76 FPS. For the physics score, we got 38,585. And for the physics test FPS, we got 122.49 FPS. So like I did with the Asus ebook, let's compare this to the online results. So this notebook is apparently better than 43% of all results, which is expected. Even though it is a gaming notebook, it is far from the highest of high-end gaming notebooks. But yes, that is the score that the GTX notebook got. And as for the tests, that is the end of all of the tests, or at least according to my tests list it is. But yes, let me just do a quick speed test of the SSDs in the notebook. Here on both of the laptops I have Crystal Disk Mark 5.2.1. Once again the 32-bit version on both laptops because I want to keep it as similar as possible. And I literally only just discovered this, but apparently you can make it a lot bigger. So now hopefully when we are zoomed out how we normally are for the time lapse, you should be able to, and you can see the numbers without me needing to zoom in. I'm going to run all the tests. Oh yeah, I didn't mention, I will be running 5 tests of 4 GB on the C drive. Now you may have noticed that there are 2 drives there, but if I go into disk management, both of those 2 drives are actually just 2 partitions on the same drive, so there's no need to worry about one drive being faster than the other. It's literally 2 partitions on the same drive. But anyway, yes, I'm running 5 tests of 4 GB on the C drive. Let me just go ahead and run these tests. There we go, tests are now running, so time-lapse time. And there we go, that is the end of the read-write test on the C drive of the 2 notebooks. So for the Asus ebook, we got those speeds there, which I'm not going to read them out because it's got like all sequential 4K. I don't really know what any of those mean, to be honest, so I'm not going to read them out or try and explain what any of them mean. I know that that is 148.8 megabytes a second on the read speed and the write's that, but yeah, I'm not going to try and like read them out because I'll probably sound like an idiot because I don't know what I'm on about. Those are the speeds of the C drive on the Asus ebook, and now moving over to the GTX, we can see we got those speeds, which you could see from the time lapse because I had no idea that Crystal Disk Mark had a zoom. I can put it right up to 400, but then that is just too big, so I think, did I set it on 300? Yeah, I set it on 300. Anyway, they are the speeds of the C drive on the GTX notebook. And now we have actually truly got to the end of the video. Regarding benchmarks, that is it. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this video, then give it a thumbs down. Comment, subscribe, favourite, share. So thank you for watching, and I shall speak to you in the next video. That video took long enough to record. I have absolutely no idea how long it took to record, but there's been a clock in the background for the entirety of the video, so, well, you can figure out how long it took to record by looking at that.